Hey, what is up, guys? It's me, Michael Gibbons, and today we're back with reacting to Casual Geographic. This one is why you should never trust a pelican with your child. Um, Damn, man, I like pelicans. I saw in another video he was dissing pelicans. I think because he said he had a bad encounter with one, but I like pelicans, man. I was actually wanted to get one. I don't know if you can. I think it's illegal, but yeah, man. Man, don't make me not like pelicans. He's gonna bring up some stuff that's gonna make me. Ugh. Oh,
This is Malgas Island, and up to 60,000 of these birds called Cape Gannets will nest here. But don't worry, I'm gonna get to it. So normally these parents
okay.
take turns with one.
I think I know where he's going with this. So I have heard of pelicans eating just about anything as long as it can fit down their throat. Like live birds, like pigeons. I saw one eat a pigeon on video. But aside from that, I think I did see one attacking a child, but I think it was because the child went too close to the pelican trying to get a selfie with one, and so the pelican kind of lunged at him. But I've seen really cute videos with pelicans, waiting online and stuff like that, so it's like, not all pelicans are evil.
Going out for food with the other staying behind to guard the chick. But because of overfishing, oftentimes both parents will go out for food, leaving the chick all alone on the island. Which wouldn't be a problem if they didn't know that. Because groups of these white pelicans will fly over to the islands and then walk around looking for any unsupervised gannet chicks. So that they can grab the baby birds and eat them alive
God, man,
while they're still.
and that pelican looks just not sorry. That pelican looks just like the pelican in the movie Racing Stripes, the one where they had the zebra racing as like a racehorse. They had a pelican in that movie, and he looks just like these. Most likely the same species, but God, man, yeah, when they do stuff like this, man, it really makes you not like them. But I mean, it's like trying to get an easy meal, so it's like, ugh.
Struggling. And sometimes they'll just push the parents out the way and then swallow the newborn children right in front of them.
Wow.
It somehow gets worse. Those same pelicans will fly back to their nest and vomit the half-digested, recently murdered baby birds for the pelican chicks to eat. And because Cape Gannets have no real way to defend themselves, pelicans have no reason to stop. And since pelicans obviously don't have teeth, those chicks' last moments were spent suffocating while being digested alive by stomach acid, only to get regurgitated and eaten twice. Dinosaurs never went extinct. They just rebranded with feathers. You know penguins will sell themselves, but like, in that way? Let me explain. This is an Adelie penguin. If you hear a messed up penguin fact, it usually involves them.
Is that
so
his
basically,
tongue?
Adelies build their nests out of piles of pebbles, which means two things. Pebbles are a penguin's form of currency, and the penguin with the most pebbles is considered the most attractive. So female Adelie penguins will offer their bodies to males in exchange for a rock, and yeah, it's exactly what I'm making it sound like.
Wow.
Sometimes the female will give it up to a male in exchange for a pebble, even though she already has a mate waiting for her back at the nest. Scientists can't really confirm this, but it's believed the females do this so that if their mate gets packed up by a seal or something, they still have a backup. Doesn't stop there, because a lot of times the female will pretend to be interested in the single male, and right when the male thinks he's about to get it in, she takes the pebble and runs back to her actual mate. The best example I could think of is if you buy a girl a drink only for her to take it and bring it over to her man on the other side of the bar. Basically, these penguins pull a Cardi B, but, without the Cosby part. And before you feel bad for them, just remember that male Adelies have been known to have relations with injured females, chicks, penguin corpses, and one even hooked up with the ground. To completion. Penguins are dressed as Wall Street brokers, and they have the moral compass of one, too.
Dang, man. What in the hell is that? God, wow. Dang, man, and the penguins, too. Well, that didn't really, diss my, attraction to penguins. Because, specifically Adelie penguins. Mostly because of the movie Happy Feet. Made me fall in love with the Adelie penguins. They were my favorite. The amigos go hard, man. Best friends ever. Can't go wrong with them. But, if anything, this actually made me like them even more. Because it really shows how much they are just like, with other creatures like humans. And I think monkeys, too, will actually trade, I think coins and stuff, in a lab, I mean, for sex. So, yeah, prostitution is very common among the animal kingdom. So, yeah, don't know what this is. I'm guessing this is some kind of slug.
Ocean of up place, ain't it? That is Nermedia, but it's also called the ribbon worm. That thing that it's doing is probably gonna get me a guideline violation. Yeah, that's how they eat. So that white stuff is its proboscis, and they'll basically shoot it out over a crab or a clam or whatever this thing eats. Also, it gets trapped and can't escape. Some types even inject a paralyzing toxin so their prey can't move, and then they'll add digestive juices so they can digest their prey before it's even in their mouth. And then this worm sucks its proboscis back in while also pulling its prey towards its mouth. It's like Spider-Man with a vor fetish. And some worms can shoot out a web that's 30 times their body length. That'd be like a man eating with a 180-foot tongue with hands. So yeah, that's not a worm enjoying December 1st. That's not a worm shooting out its liquid daycare. That is a worm trying to eat a man. The more you know.
Oh, God.
Horrifying sound of a woman becoming a hashtag.
Is that a
The biggest
bird?
mistake you could make is going to save that woman. Because that's not a woman getting turned into a headline. That was a female mountain lion in heat. Female cougars will often make these shrieking, blood-curdling screams when they're in estrus. It's like their Batman signal for getting laid. Answering that call when it's not for you is how you meet Batman's parents.
Wow.
Of course, I'm exaggerating. Cougars are way more afraid of you and will probably go the other way if you pull up on them.
Yeah.
What won't go away are the bricks in your pants after you try to be a hero and make eye contact with this walking steroid. I know it's not related, but I'm still going to mention it. Tigers have been known to imitate the sounds of
Yeah,
their
I was
prey
about
to
to
fool
say.
them into a false sense of security before they turn them into a hashtag. In fact, now that I'm thinking
That
about it,
is
this is a
scary.
margay, and they do the exact same thing with baby monkeys.
Dang, really?
Now, I'm not saying the cougars do it on purpose, but I am saying that nature is a bitch like that. Also, I forgot to mention that cougars tend to scream while mating. So if you're ever alone in bed and hear a woman on a Tinder date with Joe from you, don't worry. It's just cougars getting more action than you.
Dang, man, dang, that's crazy. Especially the tigers. I did not think that tigers could mimic the sounds of other animals to attract them to eat. That's crazy. Specifically considering that there are man-eating tigers out there. Can you imagine if a tiger actually started, like, talking? Like, well, I guess making human-like sounds. Like, sort of like a person babbling, going... I heard a whale do that. A beluga whale. But yeah, if a tiger did that, that's just... Oh, my God, that's scary. As if tigers weren't any more dangerous enough.
Okay, so here's why you and your dog should never go swimming with a kangaroo. One of the kangaroo's biggest ops are dingoes, and dingoes often hunt by chasing their prey into ditches or towards other members of the pack. It's like their version of catching you in an alley. Some dingoes in Central Australia will even chase kangaroos into fences where the dingoes know they can't escape. So whenever a kangaroo is being pressed by a predator, they'll instinctively head to the nearest body of water and then go in where it's deep enough for their arms to be underwater. I call this the around and find out. If the dingo follows it, then the kangaroo will take its arms and force it underwater until it gives up or gives out. Since they've had
Okay.
years of practice, kangaroos are really good at it. The problem is the generational trauma of being constantly hunted by dingoes means kangaroos are born racist towards anything that even looks like a dog. Which is why kangaroos will attempt to reverse baptize any dogs that mess around and get too close. And if you go in trying to be a hero, they'll happily take the 2 for 1. That's of course assuming he doesn't just kick the soul out you first. Now, a lot of prey animals will run towards water to avoid problems, but this kangaroo is the problem. This isn't an invitation, it's an offer to get Uber to your ancestors. You know, around and find out.
A known creature gives a New Yorker a heart attack.
What in the...
I both can and cannot fully explain what that is. It's
This
called
was
a
in New
kudu, but
York?
It's also known as a flying lemur, even though
Wait,
there's somehow
what?
two-
Hold on. I need to see that again. Unknown creature gives a New Yorker a heart attack. What the
I both can and cannot fully
Oh, God.
explain what that is. It's called a colugo, but it's also known as a flying lemur, even though there's somehow 2 lies in that one name. They don't fly, they glide. And since they
What
spend
is it
most of their
doing in
lives
New
the
York?
trees, they basically just airdrop themselves from branch to branch. And it's not a lemur. Lemurs are primates, making them related to gorillas, chimps, and us.
Yeah.
But this thing isn't a primate. Whoever named it would probably name an atheist faith. They use that stretchy membrane called a patagium to glide like flying squirrels, and they can travel 650
That's
feet
not-
without stopping.
that
That's
does not
200
look
meters
real.
or a little bit less than 2 football fields. But it's not a flying squirrel.
That
There
does
was a
not-
time people thought they were just God's rough draft of a bat, but colugos aren't related to bats either. And if you look at the order they're in, Dermotera, they're the only living members. It's like pulling up to a family reunion and finding out you're the only one left. And because their entire personality involves flying, they're too slow and awkward to survive on the ground. And for an animal that lives in the trees, they're pretty mid-climbers. They're so bad at life that being nocturnal is probably the only thing keeping them alive. Mother colugals will carry their babies everywhere for the first 6 months, which made some people believe it was a marsupial, like some type of deformed air koala. But it's none of those things. So what the is it? Well, scientists performed genetic analyses on them, basically a 23andMe for a flying carpet. And it turns out their closest evolutionary relative are primates. It's pretty much the closest you can get to primates without actually being one. Which means this dehydrated Dollar Tree chipmunk is more related to you than it is to an actual squirrel or bat. The more you know. Are you having a good day today?
That thing looks
well, don't.
like something from another planet. That's crazy, man. Venomous sharks found in London's Thames River.
Just found out there's venomous sharks swimming in the Thames River in London. You know sharks, right? You know those things with a built-in GPS that can smell blood from another area code? With a bite kinda like getting hit with a truck with teeth. Nature said it gave them venom and decided to make
That's
it
a
our
very
problem. Now, as a rule,
gruesome
you
way of
normally
describing
expect
that.
this kind of nonsense from Australia, so the fact that it's in London makes me really think it's God giving us the middle finger. The worst part is we really shouldn't be surprised. Sharks came up while Saturn was single because they're older than its rings, along with most dinosaurs and trees. I'm not even surprised they evolved venom, I'm just surprised it took me this long to find out. Now, to be fair, the sharks are taupe sharks. And taupe sharks are about 6 feet long, 80-something pounds, and they've never been known to attack a human. But they also found venomous spur dog sharks. And they have venom-producing spines that can cause pain and swelling in humans. Apparently, in 2009, a man was sent to the hospital after one of these sharks allegedly impaled his forearm with a spine. And there's even more venomous sharks out there, like the dogfish and smoothhounds. Now, the chances of a venomous shark being in your
Dare they
obituary are
name
very,
these sharks
very low.
after my
You're
favorite
actually more likely
dogs?
to get turned into a hashtag by a vending machine or a very
No offense,
pissed off
Toby.
ex. But we can now add sharks to the list of animals that are venomous for no reason. Here's why hanging out with flamingos can be really bad for your health, and shout out to this comment for reminding me. Because African lesser flamingos will flock in lakes like Natron in Tanzania. And some of the water they choose to stand in is so toxic that if you tried to wade in it for 2 minutes, it would strip the skin off your legs completely. Because these are soda lakes, and because minerals like sodium carbonate flow into it, the lake ends up becoming overly basic and extremely salty. I hate chemistry, I had to retake it freshman year, and I should be entitled to compensation, so I'm not even finna lecture y'all. But basically, low pH means something's acidic, high pH means it's really basic. And because these lakes can have a pH of nearly 11, the water's so caustic that it burns the flesh of humans and animals that are not already adapted to it.
These are real?
And if it gets in your eyes, you'll be like Stevie wondering when the lights went out. Flamingos can survive in hypersalinated basic lakes because they have tough skin and scales on their legs to prevent burns. Also, apparently they can drink boiling water without flinching. Why even do all that? Well, flamingos get bodied by everything, including other birds. So to avoid getting harassed, they live in a place so inhospitable that nobody goes through the effort of following them. It's like if Ben Simmons left Philly to go play in Utah. Utah not even a bad team, but when's the last time you went to Utah for spring break? Never, and that's why they do this. I swear I wasn't gonna make this video, but Buddy triple dared me, so here's how up Lion King would be if it was a little more accurate. This might have been the end of the movie. Baboons will kidnap unattended lion cubs, and that usually ends with one less lion. Obviously, I know Rafik is a manjul. You can delete the comment you're probably typing, but primates have a natural hatred towards big cats like lions and leopards. Which means this scene would have sent the movie to the credits and turned Simba into initials on a Twitter bio. As the new head male, the first thing Scar would have done was murder Simba and Nala, since when new males take over, they destroy whatever cubs the previous male left behind. Which leads me to the next fact. Simba and Nala would have been half-siblings because they would have had the same father.
Yeah.
Most lion prides only have one male that's allowed to mate. Sometimes the lionesses get something on the side, but typically their options are restricted to one. Which means this scene would have required a lot of therapy. Family therapy. Meerkats are one of the most murderous animals in the world, and that's not even a joke. There was a study done to see what mammal commits the most murders, and the animal at the top? Yeah. About 20% of meerkat deaths were caused by another meerkat. And now we know why Timon was on his own. Also, Simba would have been kicked out of the pride regardless. Because where lionesses spend their lives in the pride they were born in, males typically leave after 2 to 3 years, and it's usually the head male that drives them out. Which means Mufasa would have likely been the one showing Simba the door. Am I overanalyzing a kid's movie? Maybe, but he dared me, so it's not my fault.
Damn. Yeah, man, with the baboons, man, baboons are no joke, man. Baboons are really smart. I actually heard of this story where a baboon in the late 1800s was trained to command a railway station, like operate a railway station where the trains would go on which track, and he was legit working, and he had a full clear record, no incidences for like years. That's really crazy, man. I want to go back and look up on that story, man. But it's really crazy, man. Baboons are very smart, and also they live in really large groups. So I'd imagine that that would give rise, similar to how, with us as humans living in such conjugated groups of people, a lot of social intelligence, understanding the minds of others, and also their really complex language of babbles and noises and stuff like that. It's really fascinating, man. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time, peace.